Welcome to the show that has it all. This is the Betfred Super League.
What a game!
Champions, challengers, newcomers, leagues faithful. Hold on tight. This is the Betfred Super League 2024. There's nothing like league.
Yeah. No! Got me here. It took a big chunk out of me. Bleeding. It's bleeding. Oh no, it's bleeding. The thing just ripped my ear off. What do you think?
Hello again and welcome along to this grand final preview edition of Eddie and Stevo, the podcast, here as always with the support of the game's major sponsors in the week of their biggest night of the year at Old Trafford on Saturday, when champions Wigan take on the Robins of Hull Kingston Rovers for the right to be crowned Betfred Super League champions 2024. Stevo, we will both be there, won't we? What a night it promises to be.
It sure will, and I'm looking forward to it, and hopefully it will be nearly a full house. It's been a long time since Old Trafford has been full to the gills.
Yes, it'll be fabulous to see the stadium full, and it'll be noisy. There's no doubt about that, and we'll look ahead to that grand final in more detail shortly. And, of course, look back to an epic Aussie grand final that saw the Penrith Panthers crowned premiers for a record and history-making fourth year in a row. And we'll also be looking at the naming of the 2024 Man of Steel. But first of all, how Hull KR and Wigan made it to Old Trafford. It is the top two at the Theatre of Dreams, Stevo, so according to the seedings, at the end of a long and arduous season. But the Warrington-Hull KR game, despite the fact that the better side won, was shrouded in controversy. Was that Joe Burgess try really a try?
Well, we better ask Pinocchio, hadn't we, when you think about it? Because Burgess said, yes, it was a try. Of course it was. It was given. Off the field of play, it was given. It's as simple as that. The one good thing about it, Sam Burgess, he didn't bleat about it. He just said, look, we should not have allowed someone to run from dummy half and score a vital try like that. And when you do that, you don't really deserve to go to a grand final. And you've got to give credit to Sam for saying things like that. But I'm not so sure that was a pretty good idea for Joe Burgess to do the old nose trick and Pinocchio.
No.
To me, that just irritates me. And I tell you, it's just like what happened in the grand final down in Australia. When Penrith scored the two tries, both of them came back and blasted the players, the opposition. And a lot of people are saying there's no class in that, and I agree with it. Look, they're my old club, and I'm pleased that they've won 4 on the trot. But, a lot of the fans really get upset by the fact that every time there's a try scored, they all coming together and jumping over the top of everyone. But what people can't understand is that helps bring the team spirit. And they've got great spirit. You can't take anything away from the fact that they just absolutely ground it out. But a lot of the fans, they don't like it. And neither did I at some stage. If you've scored a try, celebrate, yes, but don't bag the opposition.
And certainly don't point to your nose and then indicate that your nose is growing like Joe Burgess did. I mean, that doesn't, as you say, that doesn't help the debate one iota, does it?
No, and look, we have a problem with the fact that is it a no try, is it a try, etc. and so forth. Most of the referees, if they're confused, they go up to somewhere up there that looks have a very good look at the replay, and they said it was a try. It's as simple as that. And as I mentioned before, Sam Burgess, he deserves a lot of credit by not going mad about it. Just said, look, we should have stopped him from scoring from dummy half.
Yeah, spot on. And you know, I didn't see the ball down on the ground. I did before the line. It was short. The next time we saw it, it was on top of the defenders. Now, look, we've been saying for months, if not years, if an on-field decision is handed up either as a try or a no-try call, the video referee's got no wriggle room other than to follow the on-field call. No conclusive proof. But there's so much doubt and debate about this one. And the other people, other pundits, Stevo, have joined us now, and they believe that there should be a change in the rule.
Yeah, and it's a simple change. The referee, if he can't decide if it's a try or no try or whatever, then shut up.
Yeah.
Don't do anything. Just, get a sign for saying, I'm putting it upstairs.
Well, they've had that. They've got the square in the air, haven't they? They've had that since 1996. Just send it up. Let them make the call. Let them make it. Of
course. And that's what confuses everyone. Because if they go no try, the crowds go, it's, listen, it's so simple that it's been missed.
Well, let's see if they do anything about it. We shall wait and see. But Hull Kingston Rovers have made it, Stevo, and this is just reward for the club that's grown and grown all year. 4th, 2023, 2nd this year. What a rise. 2016 they were relegated, promoted back the following year. 2010, 10th. 2019, 11th, avoiding relegation only on points difference. 2020, 11th again. Toronto Wolfpack dropping out saved them. 2021, the transformation began. 2023, went to Wembley. Golden Point defeat to Lee. Now they're on the verge of their first title since 1985. Rags to riches, Stevo. Well done. Well done to everyone concerned at Craven Park, eh?
Yeah, they're on the way up, aren't they? It's as simple as that. And look, you asked me a few weeks ago who you think would win it. And I'm sticking with Wigan. I still think that they'll have too much for them. But it all boils down to one person. If Mikey Lewis puts on one of his great shows for the full 80 minutes, then I think that the Rovers have got a great chance. But the trouble is, Wigan, they are so professional at shutting down dangerous players. Their coach knows exactly how to do it as well. And I think we saw in the semi-final that that Mikey Lewis wasn't at his best. So there is times when they can force him into having maybe not a great game, but just an average game. And I think Wigan will have the power to be able to do that. I hope not, because I'd like to see a new name on the trophy.
A lot of people would, yeah. I agree with you there. And, of course, it is Wigan for Hull KR at Old Trafford Saturday. A really easy ride for Wigan in the semi-final. You talk about them shutting the players down. They did that, didn't they, with Lachlan Lamb, Edwin Apapi. 33-0 against Lee. It was a step too far for the Leopards, wasn't it?
I think everybody knew that. I think even Wigan fans knew that. They thought it was going to be maybe a little bit closer. But, once they started shipping in the tries, there was no way back. Simple as that. Hats off, though, the way that they have fought, because they were dead and buried about halfway through the season. So they have really showed that they're on the up. And they should feel very proud of what they've achieved this season.
I'm sure Lee will. They won until the weekend. They'd won 11 from their last 13 prior to last Saturday night. Wigan lost Liam Farrell, Stevo, to a virus just before the match. Sam Walters came in, 2 tries, another piece of magic from Bevan French again, 6 tries without reply. If they play anything like on Saturday night, they're going to take some stopping.
Well, yes, and I think I mentioned when you requested, we had the interview with all the former players, and they gave their yes and no and who would win it and this, that, and the other. And at that time, Wigan was struggling with quite a few injuries. And I mentioned to you, and I said, listen, once Wigan get their full side back on the field of play, they're going to be difficult to stop. And I still feel that they are favourites.
100% the favourites. They've never won the Super League title back-to-back. They dominated pre-Super League era, of course. So history beckons for them. And if Hull Kingston Rovers win, as you say, there'll be a new name on the trophy at last. They're tipping the biggest crowd for years, over 70,000 expected. Let's hope so. But, you know, if Hull Kingston Rovers need any inspiration at all, the fact that their legendary figure Brian Lockwood has sadly passed away this week, that will surely, it won't give them a lift as such, because you can't be lifted by the passing of a great player. But, you know, they can really make him proud by doing themselves justice at Old Trafford on Saturday night.
I think it'll be an extra boost for them. And it is a very sad day, especially I played alongside Brian many times for Great Britain. And, of course, it was Brian that actually gave me the offload that allowed me to score the try in the World Cup final in 1972. He was, without doubt, one of the best offloaders from a forward that you'd ever seen in the game of rugby league. He was just absolutely unbelievable that he could go into maybe 3 or 4 would-be tacklers and yet had the ability to just pop that hand out, the arm, and pop up the ball for anyone who was in support. It's a great loss. Rest in peace, my friend.
Indeed so. And, I mean, again, inspiration if it's required. I know that Brian had a long time at Castleford as well, but he is a legendary figure at Hull Kingston Rovers, and he won the Lance Todd Trophy in 1980, didn't he, against Hull FC? The only Hull Kingston Rovers player to win the Lance Todd Trophy, by the way.
That's right. And as far as I'm concerned, that the fans and the team will be lifted in the memory of such a great player.
Fingers crossed for them. All right, well, in the week leading up to this grand final, we always get the Man of Steel Awards announced. It's not called the Man of Steel Night anymore, but the Rugby League Awards Night. 16 awards in all, involving the Super League Championship, League One, the women's game and the wheelchair game. But what a shame, Stevo, that this night isn't televised anymore. We did it a few times in the past, didn't we? But 16 awards given out on the night, it'd take hours. You know, maybe there needs a revamp, but I mean, let's please, let's have it on television somewhere in the future. But at the moment, in its current form, it seems like it's too unwieldy.
I'm disappointed, just like you, Eddie, in regards to the fact that, you know, our game cannot attract television companies. What is a celebration at the end of the season? The player of the year, the coach of the year, etc., etc. And I just cannot believe that we cannot negotiate to have that put on live television.
With so many streaming services these days, I agree with you. It should be on, shouldn't it? Because I was waiting for some news. It didn't come in until the early hours of Wednesday morning. It was on Tuesday when the awards night took place. The early hours of Wednesday morning, you get notification about the winners. I mean, blimey.
Look, we need a big shake-up as far as I'm concerned in all facets of the rugby league. I think we're going down quite a few avenues, which I'm not pleased with.
Yeah, if you're wondering what Stevo's talking about, Penrith due to play in the World Cup Challenge next year against either Wigan now or Hull Kingston Rovers, but it's now off. That Las Vegas trip, a major problem of fitting the game in. Penrith are going to Vegas, along with Cronulla, Canberra and the New Zealand Warriors for the big weekend. Wigan and Warrington also, of course. Now, the Vegas weekend falls on March the 1st. Super League's underway by then. The Penrith management have told the NRL there is no way in the world the club can also schedule a World Club Challenge. They're citing player welfare. So that's it. Thanks, Las Vegas. We won't be having a World Club Challenge next year then.
And let's also bring up the fact that their major player, Penrith, right, Mr. Cleary, is already in this country. He's come over straight after partying, after winning the grand final. Of course, his girlfriend is Mary Fowler, who plays football for Manchester City. And all of a sudden, the world has gone upside down. Is he going to? He's coming over to play in the Super League. He's going to do this. He's going to do that. And the Penrith club has said, hang on, it's signed until 27-28, okay? And so is his father, Ivan. And it's got to a point now where everybody's going absolutely crackers, both here and in Australia. Oh, he'll be looking for a club. I can tell all you clubs in this country, you don't have enough money to entice him to come to play.
How good is he, though,
He's
Stevo?
made it quite clear, though, Eddie. I'll give him his due. He's made it quite clear. He says one day he'd like to come over and play in Super League.
Well, that's where the rumours begin. You know, how good is he? He's brilliant, isn't he? And who knows? He's in this country now. He might enjoy a little bit of chill in the autumn. I'd fancy Old Trafford in 2025. You know, 70,000. He might fancy it, Stevo. He might be coming to Sam Burgess and Warrington.
Well, he's probably the person that he'd want to go to, because he knows Sam Burgess. He gets on very, very well with him. He's a fantastic player. He's one of the world's best. It's as simple as that. He's going to have a few operations when he does come back from his sojourn into this country. And it's amazing what love can do.
Oh, well, I love you, so there you go. That's the reason why we do this podcast every week.
Well, I'll tell you what, I wouldn't jump on a plane to come and see you, that's for sure. Dear me today. I'm not so sure whether I find that repulsive or not.
No, I can't believe that. I can't believe it. Hey, look, before I forget, because I do have this problem with memory these days, let's just wrap up the Man of Steel Awards. Mikey Lewis, only the second Hull KR player to win the Steve Prescott Man of Steel Award. Gavin Miller was the first Hull KR player in 1986. Coach of the Year, voted by the coaches themselves. His coach, Willie Peters, he beat off the challenge of Matt Peat. And interestingly, Mike Eccles of the London Broncos, who finished bottom, but he was credited with keeping them going until the end of the season. And the Young Player of the Year, Junior Nsemba of Wigan. Now, this is just as we predicted, Stevo, a month ago, if I remember rightly.
I don't think it was all that difficult, Eddie, to be fair. I mean, it'd be nice to sort of pat each other on the back. But well done to those people that have actually picked up the award. As you say, there were so many of them. It's just one of those situations. And I reckon that could be a good boost for Mikey Lewis as well.
And for Willie Peters. And for Willie Peters.
Yeah, and to arrive at Old Trafford and thinking, we're the best.
Yeah.
It's a great lift. But I've mentioned earlier, look, Wigan, they will seek out Mikey Lewis. He has to be in his best form to be able to beat this Wigan outfit. I'm not saying it can't be done. If he really hits his straps, then you could find Wigan, well, they could struggle, but I doubt it.
We'll see. All the other winners that we're talking about, by the way, are on the Rugby League websites. So get on the internet and check them out if you wish. But we must mention, Stevo, our former colleague, Bill Arthur, who, of course, sadly passed away this year, 68, after a long battle against prostate cancer. He was awarded the Spirit of Rugby League Award. Now, his last commentary was last year's grand final. The award first introduced in 2019 to recognise those who epitomise the values of rugby league with emphasis on sportsmanship and the community. And he joins an impressive list of winners, including the Burrow family, Rob Burrow himself, Kevin Sinfield, Jamie Jones-Buchanan. And it's the first time a member of the media has been recognised. Well done for recognising Bill's great work.
And fully deserved. He was an absolute legend. Billy Boy, he was loved by everyone involved in rugby league. And he will be missed, I can assure you.
He will. And grand final winners already etched into the history books. York Valkyries women. They retained the Women's Super League title, beating Saints at the weekend. And, of course, as we've already said, your old club Penrith in the NRL Grand Final, they beat Melbourne Storm by 14 points to 8. 4 Premiership wins in a row now for the Panthers, but no World Club Challenge in 2025. What a shame. What a shame.
Well, it is. And I'm sure that the players will be thinking, that there's got to be an opportunity that we can add that trophy, which they've never, ever won.
Well, they're not going to win it next year either.
No, I don't know. Maybe they bring another trophy out, Eddie, for the 2 losers.
Well,
the runners up in the grand final, right? Play off to the
for the World Club. For the World Club Challenge.
Yeah, World Club Challenge. Why not?
Well, if Hull Kingston Rovers win, Melbourne Storm have won. If Hull KR win, why not? I mean, Melbourne aren't going to Vegas. Hull KR aren't going to Vegas. There you go. There's an opportunity.
I tell you what, though, Eddie. I know that you saw the game. Penrith's tactics and Coach Cleary was just absolutely out of this world. All the time that they had possession of the ball, they ensured that nearly every play the ball was in the centre of the field. It was obviously a plan, and to the extent that Mr. Cleary was at the point that he made 118 metres forward.
Wow.
I think he played the ball somewhere around about 15, 16 times. He normally plays the ball. In other words, he normally gets tackled well under 10 during 80 minutes. And it just showed you that what they wanted to do was one man carrying the ball. That's one possession, but it attracts 3 from the defence. And that's what Melbourne were having to do. And over a period of 80 minutes, you get very tired when all you're doing is tackling. In the past, the Panthers have got the ball out wide to the 3 quarters. If you look at the game again, you'll see that there was hardly any playing the ball out wide.
Oh, it was all down the middle. You're absolutely right. And, a great win for the Clearys, the coach, and the man himself out in the middle. Well, anyway, look, we're at the end of the season, Stevo. A few items of interest from the player market. I can't get my head around this. Sam Tompkins, who has a burgeoning media career, has decided he's going to play on in 2025. He decided he was going to do it this year. I think he lasted 4 games, maybe. Why is he carrying on?
Well, it's difficult to say, Eddie, but I think when you look over the past, 1895, in fact, sometimes it's difficult for a player to hang up his boots. How many times have we seen it where they go on maybe 1 season, 2 seasons too long? I think that maybe Sam has realised that if he signs a contract, they don't have to then re-establish him and put him through as one of the players before the season starts. So maybe that's it, that he's going to be like he did this season, just fill in if they hit any danger. And that's what I reckon he'll do, because I think that they'll keep Sam in some form at the club, help him with coaching, and so they should. One of the great players.
Yes, 100% one of the great players. And I just hope it's not a season too far for him. And Chris Hill, he's left Huddersfield, of course. I thought he would be retiring after the international series against Samoa. He's got little to prove. He's a free agent, though. And having left the Giants, he signed for Salford next year, having expressed the desire, as you say, to play on at 36 years of age.
Well, if they're fit enough and they think they can do it, then I wish them all the best. I really do. If you think you've got it bad, when you look at all the injuries that you've had to suffer over the period in time, as I said before, it's very difficult to hang up your boots. The best thing is to burn them.
Well, Chris Hill isn't burning his 300 appearances in Super League, 41 caps and counting. He's in the squad for the Samoan series. The transfer market is short of prop forward, Stevo, heading into this off-season. So I suppose the appeal for Salford is fairly obvious.
Well, it is, because they want to get a little bit of strength in the middle, and they'll certainly add that. That's for sure. But can he last a full season? That's always a bit of a problem. And, on the other transfer market as well, Jackson Hastings, who was over here just recently, has told the Newcastle Knights that, look, I have a contract for next season and I'm staying put. And I know the Knights have said to him, look, you've got every chance to go back to Super League if you want. And he's just turned them down and said, no, even if he plays in the lower grades, he says, I've got a contract and I'm staying.
But he's in this country as well at the moment, isn't he? So here's another rumour.
Mm-hmm.
Is he on his way somewhere else? Is he on his way back to Super League?
Isn't it great? The media can pull up things like you and I. We can make, I hope they're not porcupines.
No, never.
We try our best to be. Talking of Penrith, as I say, there's quite a lot of fans saying that they've got no class and all that sort of stuff. But amazingly, that the Parramatta greats at a function on the day after the Australian Grand Final, and two great players from Parramatta, Ray Price and Peter Wynn, they were interviewed and they said, do you think that your team, they were champions, they won it 3 times on the trot, 1981, 1982, 83, and they said, do you reckon you could beat this Penrith side? And they said, oh, we'd beat them easy. and I must say that the Penrith captain, Yo, just said, he just turned round and said, let me just think a bit. And his reply was, I think 4 on the trot seems to beat 3 on the trot.
Just a bit.
Shut up.
Here's a transfer for you from left field, Stevo. A 2-year deal for Leeds Rhinos for Jake Connor. Now, the Leeds club allegedly delighted. What have they bought, Stevo, in Jake Connor?
I'll put it this way. He's an individual and he likes to do things his way. He's very hot-headed. He likes to say quite a lot on the field of play.
He's a maverick, Stevo.
He is a maverick. And listen, at times he can produce the goods. That's a part of how he plays. It's off the cuff sometimes.
Because he does have that little bit of edge to him. And, well, let's wait and see how it pans out.
Listen, Eddie, I wish him all the best.
Yeah, me too.
Do.
Yeah, me too.
Look, if they really start hitting their straps, the Rhinos, he could be the type of person that will even improve. But I'm sure that at Leeds, they'll pull him down and just say, look, none of this silly back-chatting to the referee, throwing the ball away, all this sort of thing. Concentrate. If he concentrates on playing rugby league, then he will and is a good player. And I wish him all the best.
Yeah, I wish him all the best for 2025. Talking about 2025, the London Broncos, Stevo, relegated, of course. They're not going to be in Super League next year now. This looks like the end of the road for their owner, David Hughes, doesn't it? I think he's decided to throw the towel in. Is that right?
Well, his statement is that it's up for sale. So,
the club's up for sale.
Yeah, he's retired. He's made it quite clear that he's done his bit for London. Is obviously not too impressed at the way that they've been treated after IMG suggestion that we need, in the early days, that we do need a club in London. And quite frankly, I don't think they've done him any favours. Look, he's been a Trojan to keeping this London side going. I have no idea how many millions, but I can assure you it's more than a handful that he's put into this club to keep it alive. And I feel sad for him because, is a person that loves rugby league through and through. And it's a shame that we're losing him. But he'll be able to go to his many homes around the world and start to enjoy himself.
Well, I hope so. Is it the end for the Broncos, Steve, or is it the end for rugby league in London?
Can you see anybody purchasing?
No.
It's not going to be easy.
No. Unless the game takes them on, unless the game gets together like they did once upon a time. Do I remember they had a rescue bid in France, remember, when Paris Saint-Germain, Catalan Dragons?
Correct.
Now, would the game, who want a big club in London, would the game take them on? There's a suggestion. That's just come out of nothing. Where have I got that from?
Well, it's probably where most of your commentary came from. No, look, I think the only way forward and into the future is that the Australian clubs do one thing that they've often suggested, that they have married up with a club in this country. And it would be great if one of the Australian clubs said, yes, we will finance and it will help project the players. When you look at how many players have left the London side over the years, and they've made it big time. Some great players.
Yeah, and a few more are going this year. A few more are coming up north this year. Yeah, you're right.
Let's
wait and see.
So maybe, and I'm hoping that an Australian club can just say, right, we'll be the first to create a marriage between an Australian club and an English club.
Well, you'll be heading home to Australia shortly to be with the bosom of your family again. I can see you being the salesman. I can see you being the catalyst to make that happen.
The trouble is, Eddie, you'd expect me to charge 25%.
No, you charge 25%. I'd expect you to take 10 or 5. But anyway, it doesn't really matter. Look, last word, Stevo, about the grand final. I rather fancy, you've been tipping Wigan all year. You've done it all the way through this week's podcast. You're not going to be changing horses now, are you?
No, I think Wigan, and they will start odds-on favourites. My only concern is that if Mikey Lewis has one of those tremendous games and is capable of doing that, and if he can escape the heavy defence that will be put against him by the Wigan Warriors, the Rovers have a chance.
And you're piling the pressure on Mikey Lewis to win the grand final for the Robins of Hulkingston Rovers.
Why not? Wigan will be putting pressure on him.
They will. And you and I will be there to see it, Stevo, see if it happens, because we're going to Old Trafford. And I'm looking forward to raising a glass with you to a great year of 2024 and an even better year to come in 2025. So I look forward to that on Saturday at the Theatre of Dreams.
Well, I'm looking forward to it too. Raise a glass. It's your shout.
Again, honestly, ta-ta.